Weather Bell Analytics meteorologist Joe Bastardi, your daily update. Continue to emphasize the tropics here because of my belief, and this started last week, that we got a big problem here. First of all, this feature here, there's an upper low that's trying to back west-southwestward, so that's going to try to come in. But what's happening is this trough is going to try to get Florence. I don't believe it'll make the connection. Florence, I don't believe, is a major hurricane. I think that it's, if you actually had a recon in there, and this is my opinion, now I'm allowed to disagree, okay? And so because of that, my intensity forecast, and I may be being stubborn because I've stated it's going to be, the strongest verification is going to be in the Western Atlantic. We can't verify what this was out there. We can estimate due to satellite photographs, but when it's in the Western Atlantic, and I do believe it is going to be in the Western Atlantic, that's when we'll get a grip on it. Here's our next feature. Look, my forecast philosophy is simple, folks. It hasn't changed. The models can't handle the warmth, and they normally try to break ridges down anyway. So this very warm water, record warm water, 84 degrees at the Delaware Bay, boys, southeast of Atlantic City over here yesterday. This warm water pumps the ridge and supplies the fuel to the fire when this gets in there. So the forecast philosophy has not changed. Here's the European 6 to 10 day 500 millibar. Now you remember last week when I showed you that 500 millibar, I said look out over here. Well, this mean, the mean of this positive over here, and you can even see it forming a ridge in the positives, and this is liable to be even bigger than what the model says to me that this is going to make it all the way back to 75 west, which would bring it to the eastern seaboard. Now, here's my forecast for tomorrow night, Category 1, then Category 1 southeast of Bermuda on Sunday night, a Category 4 Tuesday night here, a landfall. Now I got a landfall in there. I had it yesterday, but a little bit further south, in the Outer Banks over here. And then the threat that it just mills around in this area. And what's going on here also is that Gordon, this big high going by to the north, means a tremendous amount of rain is coming into here and into those areas that don't need it. And what may be shaping up here, folks, the U.S. model, which misses to the east, spares this whole situation where I'm worried about. Remember what happened in 2011? Irene came from the Atlantic, Lee came from the Gulf, right? This time, Gordon comes from the Gulf, Florence comes from the Atlantic, and this area that has been pounded all summer, and I have to wonder if it wasn't telling us something. All that rain in eastern Pennsylvania down into eastern Virginia, if it wasn't telling us something about what may happen further on. I believe this next system here develops and comes westward, and next Saturday is north of the islands over here. But it's got an open window there. And then the good news is I think this burst is going to die down. But we haven't been backing off on Florence. Now, you know how I love to use analogs, right? So here are the current rankings. I have been showing this for the past few days, and as far as where this is going to go in here, 1933 is ranked number 1. 1903, Atlantic City, ranked number 2. Number 3 is the Great Atlantic Hurricane of 1936, which almost made it all the way back to Virginia Beach. You realize how freaky that was? 2 major hurricanes within 4 years trying to come from the southeast into Virginia Beach. So that's number 3. Number 4 is Ginger in 1971. Now look, you want to talk about crazy tracks? Look at this. I mean, there's been nothing that was ever out there, and all the way in late September, come all the way back to the eastern seaboard over here and made landfall early October 1971. Isabel, because Isabel is further south, where it hits is ranked number 5. Felix, which remained offshore, ranked number 6. Gladys is number 7, which also stayed offshore, and Dora is number 8. And Dora hit from the east. So you see, these things have bends and they come back to the west over here. It's a little bit deja vu over here. This was a 9-day call on Hurricane Sandy by my company, by Weather Bell. All right, and at that time it was a tropical wave in here, so it would develop Wednesday and hit where it hit. So that was the 9-day call on Sandy. This is September 2nd, what Weather Bell put out on September 2nd, outlining the major hurricane threat. So these things sometimes, if you get the right pattern, you have a chance. It doesn't mean I'm right. You have a chance at being right. And the big thing is that I don't think that this is going to make the connection with the trough out here. Well, if it misses the connection, these things bust through, turn west, come under the ridge, they intensify like mad. And they have a free shot for 15 to 20 degrees after they bust the ridge or bust the trough. So that trough is at 55 to 60. It has a shot to come all the way back, and 75 west is the eastern seaboard, 70, of course, up in New England. Now, here is all this heavy rain the last 90 days, and the worry is that the GFS, which is trying to take the hurricane out, is going to be wrong. I believe the hurricane, if I'm right, the hurricane's going to get all the way back toward the eastern seaboard over here, and you have this heavy rain coming from the west, and then this comes from the southeast. The European is in my camp, by the way, so we'll see how that works out there. Oh, good news. The JMA says that this is going to calm down, okay? All right, so it's got the sinking coming back into the Atlantic basin, but not for 10, 12 days here. So that, see, right? It tipped us off to what was going on now. So this is a relatively short-lived burst, but you could have that type of thing go on. That's it for now. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.